some pretty big changes. And when you hear John Thune talking about a very active discussion still surrounding Medicaid, for instance, what are the first things that senators are going to want to pull out of this bill?
Yeah, so look, certainly on the tax side, there are a couple things that leap off the page at me where you expect the Senate to make, or I expect the Senate to make changes. One, and Eric kind of referenced this, making some of the temporary provisions permanent. I think their focus is going to initially be on some of the business provisions, the tax treatment of R&D, the interest limitation rule, bonus depreciation. All of those are 5-year extensions in the House bill. I could see the Senate wanting to invest the time and money to make those extensions permanent. Probably item 2 is Inflation Reduction Act. The House went pretty aggressively at phasing on an aggressive timetable of phasing out those incentives. I think senators are going to be a little bit more moderate in their appetite there, and be, give a little bit more time for existing projects to continue and for perhaps new projects to come online. So I think that, and that's an area where there's clearly going to be some friction between the House and the Senate. And then last but not least is the individual SALT cap, both the amount of the increase, which generally speaking, Senate Republicans were not interested in a higher cap, but equally, and I think this has not been widely covered or well reported, but I think it will matter, especially to perhaps viewers here. There is embedded in that a tax increase on pass-throughs of a certain type and variety. Those that don't get the new or the new in 2017 pass-through deduction. So think, dental practices, doctors' offices, small accounting firms, places like that. They are losing the ability to deduct their state and local income tax, or not just income, state and local tax payments across the board. It's partly how they're financing the increase in the individual cap overall. But if I'm a Senate Republican and I didn't really feel pressure to increase that cap in the first place, I'm super not interested in raising taxes on small and medium-sized businesses in my state to help finance that. So I think that's a third area of contention, and one that I think is a little bit of a sleeper issue. It's only really emerged on my radar screen in the last probably 72 hours.
Well, and we appreciate you bringing our attention to that. What about the carried interest loophole that obviously wasn't part of the House legislation, but we've heard some rumblings about in the Senate?
Yeah, well, look, this thing is only in play to the extent that the president sort of insists that's in play. Senate Republicans, House Republicans will point to the 2017 change, and that's the only change that's been made of any recent vintage to the tax treatment of carry. House and Senate Democrats tried, but couldn't get it across the finish line. And the other piece of this is mostly politics. The amount of revenue implicated here is like rounding error money as it relates to the U.S. government. It sounds like a lot of money, and it would be a lot of money to me or you or anyone probably watching. But as to the government, it's just not a significant amount of money. And so this just becomes a political question. It's not really a revenue question. It's not going to pay for an expanded child tax credit or really anything of significance.